So let's talk about Singe a little bit again. It's been a while since I had a video about like this, just talking about the state of Singe, what I think. Unscripted, let's just have a little bit of a rant time here. Let's talk about this champion, because he's being neglected at the moment. And I don't think it's for the reasons that some of my fellow Singe main content creators think. That is simply apathy on Riot's part. I think that there's a reason they're trying to feel him out and sort of, figure out what to do with him. And that's because he is a very, very complicated champion. Singe is strategically, in my opinion, the most complicated champion in the game. Not in the terms of mechanics, not in the terms of skill, mechanical skill required to play, but when you're playing Singe, you're more playing a strategic RTS than you're playing a game of League of Legends. You're more fucking... it's like you're playing carrier in World of Warships. You're not playing the same game as everyone else. You've got to do things differently. And that's what makes his skill ceiling so high. That's why he has this stable win rate, despite the fact that he's not played all that much. And that's because dedicated people who play him well really, really excel on him. But the problem is that, at the moment, the amount of skill required to play him is not being reflected in his high win rate. The amount of skill required to play him is not being reflected in the payoff that you get when you play a really good game of Singe. When a really good Singe player plays a game of Singed, like, there was a point last season where I thought to myself, I could just be playing Nasus with 50% of the effort as I'm playing Singe and do the same thing. And that's pretty much what I'm thinking this season, I mean, I'm still going to play Singe because I fucking love Singed. But my love of him is what's keeping me playing him. Not because he's a good champion. Not because I think he's just the best thing to climb with. If someone put a gun to my head and said, Chimpso, time to climb. You got to climb. You got to get to Diamond 5 as soon as possible. I'll just drop everything, play Nasus, play my own style of Nasus, and just never leave top lane, basically, and split push that shit down. Because I just finished my placements, I'm in gold 1, that shit will work in that elo. But I don't. I play Singe because I like Singed, and I want to keep playing him. But the problem is, he's shit. And let me explain why. So back in Season 5, which is the season that I really, really got into Singed, he wasn't exactly in a good spot either. You needed to proxy to make him work in most cases, especially when we consider the Juggernaut patch when that happened. Holy shit, that was terrible. But proxying is what kept Singe alive there. The ability to start off behind the tower at level 1, to negate those incredibly bad matchups early on, and just get that gold, come back with a small advantage, and be able to continue to proxy through the laning phase, drawing pressure. That's what really, really helped Singe out there. Also, the fact that AP items for him were actually quite good. In Season 4, Tier and Roll were sort of in vogue. They were decent items. Roll was a lot better, in my opinion. It was more expensive, but it was better. And basically, the dream, of the Singe build dream at that point, if you were doing well, would be going Rod of Ages, Rylai's, Liandry's, and then you just massacre the enemy team in team fights. There's pretty much nothing they can do unless they've got a really heavy kite comp and they can kite you back and out-damage you, in which case you do need to do tank. There were people back then who were doing like rogue Singe builds who were going full tank, which did work back then, sure. But AP Singed in Season 4 and 5 was actually quite good. It was quite decent. The old Rylai's, Liandry's was nice. It worked. But now, because of changes to those items, because of nerfs to those items, because the removal of Flask, for instance, because of the minion pathing change in the jungle, which means minions will no longer follow you, so you can't kite them back as effectively, and you take more damage in a proxy, sort of got rid of that. And so Singe was left in a really shitty spot where it's like, okay, you can't proxy anymore, so what do you do to make up for that? And, for a while it was the Rot Portal, and then Righteous Glory, and then Righteous Glory got nerfed. And the Singe meta changed so much over time. And, it was the better Singe players who were innovating. I wasn't really doing any innovation at that point. Keystone masteries are a whole nother basket that I'll get into. But, yeah, basically, Dark Seal was sort of a cool thing. Because, the potion duration was really nice. And that gave Singe some more sustain. And basically, when we started off in Season 6, it was like doing the double Dark Seal thing, getting potion duration, and that was really nice. I can't believe I didn't think of, or no one thought of, Dark Seal stacking back then, like going 3 or 4 Dark Seals like we do now. Because that back then would have been really, really cool. But You know, sometimes the best things are right under your noses, so there you go. But yeah, that was sort of the meta back then when proxying was out. We just sort of had to try and deal with it there and go for proxies after level 6 and just try and hold on. And it wasn't helped by the fact that no Keystone mastery was good for Singed. Pretty much, I mean, Thunderlords was, but that's because Thunderlords was good on everybody. Then it got nerfed, so it was shit. Grasp of the Undying was pretty good. Then it got nerfed, and it was shit on Singed. Deathfire Touch, yeah, Deathfire Touch was good. But it's not ideal, because you have to go into the offensive tree for that. And the offensive tree isn't really good for Singed compared to the defensive tree, compared to the tenacity you get there, compared to the health bonuses you get there, compared to the armor bonuses that you get there. It's just not as good. People often get too fixated on the Keystone masteries and don't focus on what's actually in the trees themselves. Just like, oh, this Keystone is really good for Singed, ignoring the fact that you get tenacity in fucking before the Keystone mastery in the defense tree. So if you take a Keystone mastery in another tree, you cannot get that mastery in the defense tree, and that really fucking hurts. But at this point, we got no choice. You know, we got no choice. Courage of the Colossus was like, oh yes, finally a Keystone mastery that's good on Singed, beautiful. And then, you know, Poppy happened, and all those other busted tank champions top happened, and they abused Courage of the Colossus, and then Singed is high and dry again because they had to nerf Courage of the Colossus instead of nerfing those champions. So yeah, now it's shit again, and now we're in this bad position where Singed is not tanky enough to be able to survive in team fights if he does a traditional build. Lethality and just the amount of damage that tanks and everyone is doing in this game is just too high now. So you're forced into this tanky build. But at the same time, since you can't proxy, you might as well try and go for kills early on in lane. Try and take Ignite against melee matchups. Try and stack Dark Seals to try and snowball pressure in top lane, which will let you get your tank items for those mid-game team fights to actually help you bloody survive. So you can do that now. But the point is, it's just, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good playing him like that. Singed should have damage. He should have damage. He should be that champion where if you get ahead, because you're not meant to get ahead, because it takes a lot of skill to get ahead on Singed, you should be able to just shit on people in those mid-game team fights if you build damage items. Because your ult gives you such a big ball of stats. It gives you that armor and magic users you need to survive those fights. And with the health you get from those, you know, hybrid tank AP items like Rylai's and Liandry's, and, you know, Rod of Ages, if it was still good to build, would be really, really nice. And you can synergize that with the armor and magic resist you get from the ultimate, and just shit on people with that in team fights. But you can't do that anymore, because if you don't have tank, you just die. And the thing about going full tank Singed is, which is pretty much what you have to do. I mean, you generally want to get a damage item, like a Liandry's, like 3rd or 4th item. Rylai's is just not that good anymore, because the stats it gives just aren't good enough for the gold. And the slow is not as valuable when the stats aren't as good. But, like, that's all the damage you'll have. And even then, you might not always be able to build that damage. If you need to survive and peel for your AD carries, you can't build that. Because if you do, then your AD carries are just going to die. And you're not going to have enough damage with just a Liandry's to be able to make up for that. And that's the thing, you know. One thing I notice, it's incredibly fucking common that I've been noticing in the games that I lose, is if my bot lane is fucking shit, I lose the game. Because it used to be that, okay, bot lane's getting shit on. That's fine. I'm doing okay in top lane. I've got my Rylai's, I've got my Liandry's. I'm gonna fucking shit on these team fights. I can make up for the damage of that shitty bot lane. I could just fucking run on their AD carry, or just stick on whatever assassin is fucking them over in team fights, and just kill that person first. And then we're fine. But you can't do that anymore. You have to go tank, you have to try and peel for your team, you have to try and zone enemies away from your team, and if your team is garbage, it's just not going to work, because you don't have the damage to be able to deal with it. To put it quite simply, Singed cannot carry right now. It's just, I mean, you can, but nowhere near as well as any other champion, and nowhere near as well as Singed did in the past. You really can't carry as well as you could. Because before, your bot lane shit, okay, that's fine. You're still doing well, you can do damage in team fights while peeling for your team, you got it. Now, you just have to peel for your team, because the resistances from your ult aren't enough. You need resistances from other items. You need more health. You need everything. You cannot build those damage items to be able to survive. It just doesn't work. And Singe's ult, I think, is the problem here, because that's why, in my opinion, Riot is so hesitant to take a look at him. Because that ult gives him so much power with just the click of a button. And his ult is really fucking powerful. But the thing is, it's the only thing that keeps him afloat. It's literally the only thing in the past, all these Singe seasons, that has kept Singe where he is. Singe without his ult he doesn't exist. He's not a champion. Singe only exists with his ult. He can only team fight with his ult, unless you somehow get into a very, very lopsided team fight. It gives him the movement speed he needs. It gives him the tankiness he needs. It gives him what he needs. And in this meta, where we're building tank items, it gives him that little bit of damage that he needs, along with Deathfire Touch, which is the reason why Deathfire Touch is taken now. Because if you don't take Deathfire Touch, you're not going to do enough damage, because you have to go full tank. That's the thing. So there's very little variety in Singe builds now. It's not like in the old days where, yeah, you could build full tank Singe. You can do well with it. You could build AP Singe. Well, not full AP Singe, but the traditional AP Singe. You know, Rod of Ages, Rylai's, and Andrews. You could build that, and you could do well with it. Hell, you could build a fucking tier back in Season 4 and do well with it. You build a tier now, don't. Just don't. If you're still building tier or Rod of Ages on Singe now, yeah, don't do that. But yeah, like, the point is, he's a difficult champion to balance. I know that. I can see that. And that's because he's a difficult champion to understand. Like I said before, I played Singe a lot. I don't know how this champion works. I don't know what to build on him. I'm fucking clueless. I rely on the few people in this world who actually know what to do on Singe. People like Minishcap, Ancan, whatever those fucking Korean Singe players are. You look at them, and you see what they're doing, and you see if what they're doing works, and you copy it. And that's pretty much the best you can do at this point. There are very, very few Singe innovators. I'm definitely not one of them. The point is, you know, he's just not fun anymore. He's not as fun to play. Because going full tank isn't really that fun if you do no damage. It's fun if you can do damage as well. It's fun if you're playing something like a, I don't know, like a Dr. Mundo, and you're just ridiculously tanky and nothing can kill you, and your cleaver's chunk for a shit ton of damage. That's sort of fun. It's not fun when you're running around on Singe and you just die because your fucking poison does no damage and your team doesn't do enough damage to stop the enemy from killing you, and you're gonna peel for your AD carry and fucking babysit their autistic ass the whole game because they don't know their fucking... Yeah, I've always hated bad bot lanes, but now I hate them so much because if I look at my bot lane and they're like combined 0-5, I'm just like, the game's over. Unless we get really, really lucky, unless they shape up big time, the game's just over. The moment I hear double kill on the enemy team and bot lane, I'm just like, shit, we're done. The only time I don't feel that way is if the support got the double kill, as you saw in the last game I uploaded, and we sort of were able to come back from that. Well, the bot lane was. I don't like playing a game where I'm so heavily, heavily reliant on my teammates the whole time. I feel like in the past, I could have carried on Singe a bit more. I was more independent. I could make my own moves more and just basically control the map a bit better than I do now. Now, sure, you still can with Zerot Portal and all that, but it used to be that, you know, three people come for you with Singe. You could kill one of them and get out and, you know, be able to just run to the team fight and help your team push down the mid lane and just do shit. Now you can't really do that because you don't have the damage. The tankiness is required to survive, but even then, everyone does more damage because of the lethality, so it doesn't really... It basically cancels it out instead of making it better. And in the end, Singe is just left in this sort of spot where he's got to just kite for his team in team fights. He has to play as a tank. Singe is not a tank. Singe is an AP bruiser. He shouldn't play as a tank. But he has to at this point. If you want to play Singe, and if you want to play him in any sort of decent elo, and you want to play him in any way well, you're going to have to go a tanky Singe at this point. It pains me to admit that. I've been thinking, like, is there anything that I can do to make things work and try and do things better here? But I really can't think of anything. At least not now. But I'm no innovator. Maybe, who knows? Maybe someone will come out with something really, really cool, and we'll see some awesome Singe build that somehow makes him decent again. Hopefully we get Courage of the Colossus bus, but I doubt it. And of course, with the tank item changes that are going to be coming up very, very soon, I believe, it's probably just going to get even worse for Singe, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to look at him in that patch as well. They're probably going to give him some small quality of life buff that will do fucking nothing and not help him in any way, and that'll be it. And yeah, that's really it. That's all I have to say. I can understand why the balance team is hesitant to change Singe. I do understand that. But something has to be done. Something had to be done 2 seasons ago. But now it's just at the point where, like, come on. Come on. Are we really going to go into Season 8? Okay? Because I remember in fucking Season 5 and Season 6, I'm like, Singe is in a really shitty spot right now. He needs some changes to be better. I look back in Season 5 and Season 6 now and say, fucking hell, Singe was good back then. Like, no, he wasn't. No, he fucking wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't good since they removed tenacity from his ult. So, yeah. But if I'm going to go into Season 8 and look at Singe in Season 7 and be like, you know, Singe wasn't really that bad in Season 7, considering how shitty he is now, I'm going to be really mad. I'm going to be really mad. So Riot needs to do something about him. They need to do something about him this season. They cannot just let this go on for another season and just leave Singe in this fucked up state. Okay? That can't happen anymore. There needs to be some changes. Otherwise, Singe Manager's just going to stop playing the game. I think Singe 420 has stopped playing. At least stop playing Singe, because he's just shit. He's not good. Why play Singed when you can play anything else and do better and have more fun? But yeah, that's what I'm going to say, guys. Share this one around if you feel like. I'd really like the balance team to see this, because, I mean, I'm no fucking lead-ass high elo Singe player. I just finished my placements fucking yesterday, and I got into Gold 1, so it's a long climb back to Diamond, but I'll get there. But this is something that a lot of Singe players are saying. This is something that the big guys are saying. I watch people like Minish Cap, and he says the exact same thing, you know. It's not fun going full tank. It's not fun doing this shit. It's not fun having to do this janky playstyle. If I want jank, I'll play Magic the Gathering. You should see my commander decks. That shit's janky. When I play League of Legends, I want to win. That's what I'm here for. And I want to have fun while doing it. Singe, at this point, I can barely do either. And that's what's annoying about him. But I still love the champion. And I don't want him to get into a good state again. So that's why I'm making this video. So share this one around, guys. Let's see if we can get any sort of response here. I'd really like a response from anybody official about this, because at this point we're just being told Singe was always OP. You just gotta believe in yourself. No, you're a fucking idiot. Singe mains are saying is shit. And I'm sorry, the silvers and golds on the balance team don't get to decide on whether or not the champion who fucking Challenger and Master tier players are saying is shit is good. That doesn't happen. Those players decide whether or not he's good. And if they're struggling with him, after playing him for fucking, they could have been playing him since Season 1, and if they're saying he's shit, he's fucking shit. That's all I got to say, guys. Take care. Share this one around. I would really appreciate it. And, yeah, see you on the next video.